Welcome again to Ancient Tales for Today. We've been looking at a very old book, Gu Jing. This book has been around parts of it have been around for 3,500 years. Now that's a long time, and these are very old stories from even before that time. Last time we talked about the Great Sun War, about two sisters, and they're vying for the attention of their husband Jacob. Now Jacob is on his way home, and we come to lesson 26, Fighting with God. And with that, we'll take a break, and we will be back in just a moment.
Fighting God. Fighting a human being, that's one thing. But fighting a supernatural being, that's something very different. Sounds like something out of the movies, doesn't it? But the ancient tales describe a fight, and it was between Jacob, a human being, and a, quotes, man, who said that Jacob had fought with God. Remember, it was Jacob who had tricked his brother Esau, and then was tricked himself over Rachel, the woman he wanted to marry. Not a great example of truth and honesty. But now Jacob is going to have to face his brother Esau, who wanted to kill him. Jacob decides to send gifts ahead to please Esau, thinking that doing this would soften his brother's angry heart. Jacob also sends all his family ahead, but he himself stays behind. Just before dawn, a, quotes, man approaches and wrestles with Jacob. He sees he is not winning, so in the end, he puts Jacob's hip out of joint. But Jacob still holds on and refuses to let go until this man blesses him. The man does bless Jacob and tells him that he has fought with God. Afterwards, Jacob says, "I have seen God face to face and lived." Now the meeting with Esau doesn't seem half so bad. If he can fight with a supernatural being, what can a human being do? Well, Esau could still do some very bad things, but Jacob is prepared to face him, whatever happens. We may not be called to fight supernatural beings, but we all face challenges in our lives, and we may make decisions that need to be changed. In fact, we may need to be changed ourselves. Jacob, who had tricked people and had been tricked himself, needed to learn to be truthful and honest and to face the consequences of what he had done. In the end, thankfully, he did.
Here we go now. We're looking at fighting with God, and this is lesson number 26. Okay, now, fighting with a human being, that's one thing. So, 一回事, okay? We would say that in Chinese, fighting with 跟一个人争斗, okay? That's one thing. But fighting with a supernatural being, that's something very different. 那就不一样的事. Okay? Now, supernatural. Well, you can figure it out. Super, 超, natural is 自然, 超自然. What? Being. Well, we don't know whether it's a human being or an angel. so we just say 生灵, something that's living. But fighting with a supernatural being, that is something very different. 另外一件事情. Sounds like something out of the movies, doesn't it? 听起来好像是从电影片出来的一件事情啊，是不是？ Sounds like something out of the movies, doesn't it? But the ancient tales describe a fight. So they describe, 他们形容 the fight, and it was between Jacob and a human being. Now, notice carefully the way we have written this. It was between Jacob and a human being. Okay? 那就是一个人啊。And the man. Do you see the little quotation marks there? Because we will discover that this man is not really a man. Okay? Because the man said that Jacob had fought with God. Okay, so when they were about finished with their fighting, the man said, Jacob, you have fought with God. 你是跟神争斗. So it sounds very strange. Jacob is fighting with a man, but the man says, Jacob, you're fighting with God. Now, let's kind of go back a little bit. Remember, it was Jacob who had tricked his brother Esau. Remember that? This is quite a few stories ago. Jacob tricked his brother Esau. 就骗了他的哥哥Esau. Okay? And then he was tricked himself over Rachel. So, and then 过了一段时间，他就被骗, and he ended up with 2 wives, remember? He was hoping to marry Rachel, and he married the older sister instead. Remember that? Because Rachel was the woman he wanted to marry, of course. That's the lady he wanted to marry. Well, he did, eventually. 终于, they allowed him to marry Rachel. But it's a sad story going on. Not a great example of truth and honesty. So we have one story after another. 不是一个很好的例子. Not a great example of what? 真相, 真理, 还有老实, 诚实. See, these people are not, how can we say, not living right or doing right. But now Jacob is going to have to face his brother. So Jacob is on his way home. He is traveling, and he's on his way home, and he's going to have to face his brother. 面对他的哥哥. Okay? And Esau wanted to kill Jacob. See? Why? Because he wanted to do this very early. And then Jacob ran away, of course. Remember that. Now, Jacob sends gifts ahead to please Esau. This sounds very Chinese to me. Jacob decides to send gifts. Okay? 要送一些礼物. Okay? To please Esau. What does it mean to please? 这个讨好这个Esau. Okay? 讨好他. Thinking that doing this may soften his brother's angry heart. 就想 这样做的话会 soften. To soft is 柔软, okay? But in this case, soften means to 消除他哥哥的 angry heart. 他的 angry heart, 他的怒气. Okay. Jacob also sends his family ahead. So Jacob sent his family ahead. He kind of stays back. 他留一步. He stays behind. He himself stays behind. Now this is at nighttime. Now remember, this is at nighttime. If you see a stranger in the night, what happens? 这个晚上的时候，黑夜的时候，有陌生人。What are you going to do? Is it a friend or is it an enemy? 是不是敌人？ At dawn, leaving 的时候 the man, again, is it a man? Okay. Approaches and wrestles with Jacob. 摔跤, okay? They're wrestling, 争斗, okay? And he sees that he is not winning. So the man, the supernatural being, sees that he is not winning. Now, remember, Jacob is not very young. He's an old, well, by our standards, he is quite an old man. Okay? He's at least 95 years old, but he's still strong. And he is losing? No, he's winning. Jacob is winning. Well, we've got to come back and finish up the story, but this man hurts his leg. 使他就开始瘸腿. And with that, we'll take a break. We will be back to finish this story. What happens? Stay by for more. Now we come to Isaiah 27:5. Isaiah 27:5 for more light on our path.
以赛亚书27章第5节。
This is not very long, Lena, so let me read it.
好，
Or else, let them come to me for refuge. Let them make peace with me. Yes, let them make peace with me.
这里说，不然让他持住我的能力，使他与我和好，愿他与我和好。
Okay, now we're talking about Jacob, and we're talking about him actually fighting with God.
是的，
Okay, but something is very interesting happening. What ideas, what questions do you have in your mind about this?
我看这个故事的时候呢，我就想到他敢跟上帝来征战啊，哈，来打仗一样子哈。那其实雅各的情况是不是很好的？也很危险，也很紧张，也很混乱。然后那个时候他怎么样能够得着一个平安的心境呢？
Right. Well, you remember the story of Jacob for many, 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 many years. He was, well, actually his name means 骗子.
对对
Okay, that's his name. And so, even though God many years before 很多年以前已经给他做梦，
对
and gave him a promise, and gave him a promise. Still, he is this kind of person, 骗子. So, first of all, he must 跟上帝和好。
对，
And so this is the reason he's fighting with God. And finally he gives up. He said, I give up. 我放弃。
OK，
Okay, and then this is when he changes.
哦，
And now he can go out to meet his brother and 跟他和好。
我现在很明白了，就是说，其实有的时候，很紧张的环境，自己很害怕的环境，是因为我们有一些事情害怕。如果我们把这个事情解决了，和神和好了，和人和好了，我们的心境也就会平和了。
Very good.
嗯
Where we left off is the man touched Jacob's hip. Okay, your hip is this area right here, and suddenly it is out of joint. The bone comes out, and I understand that Jacob walked with for the rest of his life, very painful going on. But Jacob still holds on, even though he is hurt. The man hurts him. He still holds on and refuses to let the man go until he blesses him. Said, by this time he knows that it's not just an ordinary, 不是平常的一个人. And so he says, I will not let you go. 你一定要祝福我. And he does not let go. 他just holds on. The man does bless Jacob. The man does bless Jacob. And he tells him that he has fought with God. So now, finally, the man says, let me just tell you, you have fought with God. And you have overcome. 你赢了. Okay? Even though he's hurt, the man says, you have won. Well, maybe we need to talk about in what way he won. But afterwards, Jacob says, I have seen God, and I have lived. I have seen God face to face, 面对面, and I have lived and lived. Now, the meeting with Esau doesn't seem so bad. The way we wrote it here is good English, but maybe a little bit hard to understand. Now, the meeting with Esau doesn't seem half so bad. What does that mean? It doesn't seem half so bad. 并不觉得是很糟糕的一件事情. In other words, he has already faced God. He has already wrestled with God face to face and lived. Okay, so it doesn't seem like facing his brother will be so bad. Why? Because what can man do? God was on his side. In fact, God gave him a blessing. God promised to be with him. And so this is very, very encouraging going on. No, now the meeting with Esau doesn't seem half so bad. If he can fight with a supernatural being, what can a human being do? Of course, the answer is nothing. Going on? Well, Esau could still do a lot of very bad things, okay? Because Esau was not a happy person. Remember, when Jacob ran away, his brother said, I'm going to kill you. And so Jacob ran away. But Jacob is prepared to face him. 他已经准备好要面对 他的哥哥呢 ？Okay, whatever happens. This is a very commonly used term. 不管发生什么事 whatever happens. Sometimes we put it at the end of the sentence, sometimes we put it at the first of the sentence. Whatever happens. We may not be called to fight supernatural beings. I doubt that we will be called to fight supernatural beings. 叫超自然的生灵 we will not fight with them. 我们绝对不会跟他们争斗 okay? But we all face challenges in our lives. 我们的每个人的人生都有一些挑战 And we may make decisions that need to be changed. So, sometimes we make decisions 做决定 and we make bad decisions 不好的决定 and we need to change. Maybe we 后悔 we regret about this and so we want to change things. In fact, we maybe need to be changed ourselves. So we need to be changed ourselves. 我们自己要被改变的 We need some change going on. Jacob, who had tricked people. See, now we come to kind of like the bottom line, the important point. Jacob, who had tricked people. So Jacob was a trickster. Have you heard that term before? Trickster. He had tricked other people, and he had been 也被骗过. So he tricked people, and then other people tricked him. He needed to learn. Jacob needed to learn two things. Well, he probably needed to learn a lot more than two things. But he had to learn to be truthful. 他要说真理或真相的话 okay? And he had to learn how to be honest. 他要变成老实的人 诚实的人 okay? And not only did he have to learn this, but he had to learn how to face the consequences of what he had done. 他是学习到什么？面临他所做的的结果，这后果。So everything we do, everything Jacob did had results, and he had to face the results. When you do something, you have to assume the responsibility for the results. In the end, okay, 最后 thankfully 感恩的是什么？他愿意接受。Okay, well, that's all we have for this lesson. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, we're going to look at a few words here. The first one we're going to look at is softening his brother's anger. What does the word soft mean?
软
Okay.
柔软
Okay, but this is a verb. 这个是动词。
对
So what does it mean to soften somebody's anger?
我想到就是说他要软化他兄弟的怒气，就是本来他的兄弟的怒气是很 strong 的，很什么的，他要把它软化，让它变得少一点，减少一些，对不对？是这个意思吧？
Yeah, 完全对了。Another word is a very simple one, dawn.
黎明。
黎明。
对，故事里面说那个他的对手在黎明的时候出来了。
Yeah. Okay. Okay,
还有一个是 face to face 这个很容易解释
now,
是吧？
面对面。
面对面他的经验很不简单的，可以跟上帝面对面。
Yeah, and he said, and I'm still alive.
对。
Well, we've come to the end of another interesting ancient tale from a book that we call 古经, or in the Christians say 圣经. This book full of very interesting stories. We've just been talking about fighting with God. Now, finally, he is starting to feel good. Jacob is feeling good. He feels like God has forgiven, 已经饶恕过他. And so now he has the promise from God that everything will be okay with his brother. Now, in the next lesson, the two brothers make peace. I hope you'll join us for our next interesting lesson.
That's all for today, and thanks for watching. If you like Ancient Tales for Today, please visit atft.chinesehope.tv. You may also contact us by writing to ancienttalesfortoday@gmail.com. Again, that's ancienttalesfortoday@gmail.com. Tell your friends about Ancient Tales for Today. See you next time.